Good afternoon. This is Victor Jimenez with Sewer Line Check Professionals. I'm here at 1504 North Avenue 56 in Los Angeles, and I'm in the process of performing a video examination of the main sewer line for Amy Greenwood. Now, the main sewer line is the portion of the waste drainage piping which is exterior to the structure. It lies underground and connects the building drain line system to the public sewer. The building drain line system then is the portion or portions of the waste drainage piping which are underneath or interior to the structure. Today's video examination does not focus on the building drain line system, so if further evaluation is desired regarding the building drain line system, a licensed plumbing contractor should be contacted, or a specialty building drain line video examination can be set up through our office. Alright, so I've accessed today's main sewer line from a 3.5-inch main sewer line cleanout located to the left of the front door near the front left corner of the structure. We push here just under 50 feet into this connection point at public sewer, which is what we're looking at up ahead. So we're going to be coming today from public sewer back up to the cleanout access that we started from today, and we'll be examining the pipe material and the condition of the line as we're coming back from that point. Alright, now pulling away from public sewer, we are in a 6-inch diameter section of vitrified clay. Vitrified clay is a very common material for main sewer lines. It has a long service life expectancy. However, it is more susceptible to damage during earthquakes and seismic activity. It also has a tendency to let in roots at the joint areas. Now, this section here is fine. There wasn't any roots or cracks or breaks in any section of the pipe, so the immediate connection point looks fine. Here at about 46 feet, we have a section of about 6 inches there, which is an exposed concrete pipe. Now, concrete is also a common material for main sewer lines, and it holds pretty similar characteristics to the vitrified clay. It has a long service life expectancy, but it is more susceptible to damage during earthquakes and seismic activity, being a more brittle material, and it also has a tendency to let in roots. And I don't see any issue here with this section of the concrete up ahead. Now, it's just something to keep in mind. It looks like there's earlier sections of this line which have had a lining system run through it. It's possible that this connection or this pipe under the street was originally a concrete pipe which has then been lined. And that will be a little bit more clear as we're pulling away from this section of concrete right here. Not too much of an issue, but the other thing to keep in mind is that in 2007 the City of Los Angeles essentially created an ordinance which, if we have a concrete lateral, so essentially this part of the pipe under the street, if there's a concrete lateral on a house that's built before 1965, one of two things needs to occur with the pipe. Either one, it needs to be replaced with a new material, or secondly, it needs to be upgraded with a lining system. Now, it appears that a majority of the line does have a lining system, so it is possible that this work was partially done. Maybe we just missed here on this last kind of 6 inches before the section of clay at the end. It's hard to really be conclusive as to exactly what was done or why it wasn't or not. The reason I bring this up is not necessarily from a functionality standpoint. The concrete pipe is fine as long as it's not broken or cracked. There's not necessarily a practical reason to replace it. But the reason that I bring this up is because it is something that could come up if certain building related permits are going to be requested. As an example, if you're going to be trying to add on a bathroom unit, as part of that, the city might then request an inspection of the main sewer line, specifically the lateral, so the portion under the street. And if they did this inspection and they found this section of exposed concrete, it's possible that they would then end up recommending or requiring that one of those two things be done, either the liner or the replacement of the material for a new material before they would issue the permits for the building. So it's just something to keep in mind. So, pulling away from that, we're here in this section. So initially, this looked like a section of vitrified clay. However, you can see on the top side of the screen, on the left side, you can see almost like a stitching running along. The reason that is because that actually is this liner. So, pretty unique there with that red lining system. But you can see this was a joint area. The lining system has essentially been run through this pipe to seal over those joint areas as well. So that's why I'm assuming that the lining system was installed because we had this concrete pipe. Although again, it's not something I can be completely conclusive on. Now, the lining systems are essentially promoted as a rehabilitation method for older systems. The reason that they're installed is to essentially help aid older systems that are kind of either already failing or beginning to fail. And they can remedy situations like root intrusions coming in at the joints because they seal those joints. They can remedy minor stress cracking along the pipe. They don't fix breaks in the pipe itself, but they can fix some minor issues with the line. Now, the thing with the lining systems, I can't say whether this was an approved lining system. There's hundreds of potential lining systems on the market, and I can't say whether or not this was an approved material. That's something that would have to be inspected against whatever permits were pulled in order to do this work. What I can say is that up until this point here at about 19 feet, the liner was installed properly. We do have that 6-inch section at the end that's missing some, but up until this point here, the line's fine. Now, this right here, what we're looking at is a little bit of a concern. This is essentially some of the lining system that's gotten bunched up, and that's why we're seeing essentially sections of the liner starting to peel. Now, you shouldn't be seeing that. The most common reason, or the most likely reason for this liner essentially starting to peel away is regular cleanings. So one of the things that the lining systems do, they do seal those root areas. They can resolve those minor stress cracking. But a common misunderstanding with this kind of system when you get a lining system installed is that when you routinely clean a pipe that has a liner, those routine cleanings actually start to degrade and wear away at the liner much faster than if it were another type of pipe material. The lining systems just aren't designed to be able to handle the weight of either mechanical blades going through or the pressure of, let's say, like a hydrojet cleaning. And what happens is that the liner starts to peel. The issue with this is that this situation will only continue to get worse, and as it gets worse, we're going to have more of an issue with eventually this entire lining system is going to need to be cut out, and then the pipe will need to be essentially replaced or fixed. So, you know, the little bit of kind of debris that we saw in there, the little bit of the lining system that we saw, isn't enough to really create any kind of issue today, but it is something which will only get worse essentially over time. I don't want to run a little bit of water there just to get a better shot of this section. We're not getting the best angle. I'm going to go ahead and pull the line out. We're only a few feet from this clean out. And just going to wipe off the camera, get back down in there and make sure that we can see that. We really want to get a clear picture of that joint area that looks a little off. Alright, let's run a little bit more water there. Hard to get a really clear picture of that, but that looks like we're running into a little bit of an issue there. Essentially, we shouldn't be seeing that kind of line. It looks almost like we have either a root or some kind of line sticking out. Alright, just going to show you. So we're here in the front of the house, front door's over there. So the line's coming out of the building here, and we actually have this clean out located right here. It's covered up by that rock that just screws on there. Got a photograph of this for the report. Alright, so with that, I'm going to be wrapping up the video portion of the examination for today. Once again, this is Victor Jimenez with Sewer Line Check Professionals. Thank you very much and have a pleasant day.